Today we're building a paver pad, a little bit unusual because we have a shed going on top of it rather than, patio furniture and whatnot. We're building on a little bit of a hill today, so we're going to have a much more structurally sound side on this side with like a foot or extra wide base underneath the wall. Other than that, this is one thing really going on out here. We have a small project today. We just kind of show up, bust this pad out for a few days and be gone. It's a simple one.
So on that side of the structure that we're building, pretty much the entirety was covered in roots. So we spent a good chunk of the day, each of us rotating between David, Justin, and I, each of us taking our turn on the pickaxe, and the axe is just hacking away at the roots. So the arms are really sore today.
So when we're putting in stuff next to trees, and especially next to old wood lines, there was a big tree actually taken out right here. You'd think maybe the roots were rotten, but they were still quite lively, and there was a lot of them. It was also very encapsulated in some hard dirt and some mud, so running things like a sawzall or chainsaw on the ground just wasn't an option. We had to beat it up, and taking on something like this by yourself might be really hurtful. A little hurtful to Mitchell, actually. He's hurting today, so sometimes you just have to go at it physically. You can't just stick a saw in the ground or make it easy. It's just hard. Don't worry, this is not permanent. Stubbing up the irrigation out of the way of our wall so that we don't have irrigation running under there at any point. It's good to find it. We didn't know it was there. Yeah. Let's take a couple 90 elbows and stub it up for now, and I'll route it around while we got time later. And that right there is a bell end. Did not realize that. Gonna have to cut that off too. So dirty I couldn't see what I was doing. I had no idea what was in there. Kind of explains why it broke there. Again, this is the most professional installation you'll ever see. The dirt holds it in there good. Nice friction. Definitely not coming off. We're just marking it. Fix it later. Right now, focus on getting this stuff set so paver guys can move forward, keep them moving as fast as possible, and get back to what we're doing with the landscape. I just check my work backwards. Like when I do math, I do it again and again. And the same thing with like squaring up something like this with the house. I've had to do it like 3 times. But you just don't think that it's correct. Check it again, check it again, check it again. And you find out, well, things are wrong, and just get it right eventually. Make sure I get it right. So today we're just looking to do the paver pad. Focused up on doing this. A little bit of cleanup. Definitely have to pick up the paver scraps at the end of the day and whatnot. Take those home. But we'll be ready for drainage tomorrow, so we're still working on landscapes. There'll be some minor dirt moving maybe. We'll get that done sort of midday before we get the patio finished. But we'll have some fine grading and some drainage to do before we do sod and cleanup and all that.
I'm really excited for drainage tomorrow.
We're getting ready for sod tomorrow. A little cleanup, pressure washer, typical earthworks wrap up. Did a little extra dirt today. Brought in 2 yards of dirt so that I could make this backyard look somewhat consistent over there. They did some tear out with the trees. They definitely needed some dirt afterwards. Taking the trees seemed to take a lot of dirt with it. We sort of overbuilt this patio too, knowing that a shed's gonna go on it. A lot of extra crush under the pavers, about 6 inches of crush, which is 2 more than normal, and that's an estimate. It might be 6 to 8. We compacted both layers, compact the dirt, compact the crush. Under my walls is a solid foot of crushdcrete. You know, we've made a footer for it basically, so this thing's not settling here next to this swamp basically. We're actually pretty close to the Trout River, so at times it may come up high, pretty close to this patio. We didn't want to move. It's just a simple drainage project. We just don't want this water coming back here towards the patio and washing it out. And the grade off the side of the house over there is very steep, so you know any water that hits it just takes stuff with it. So we've taken both those gutters and put them out directly into the swamp, and just keep it off the yard where it's going to erode things. So you can see I made tracks here. We put plywood on the front yard and made it as far as we could. Left the damage here on the side yard, just a sort of calculated loss. This is how we clean up. You know, we make a mess, we clean it up, try to make it look like we weren't here, even though it's going to be hard over here with all these roots. But same thing, like I drove on the driveway to get some pavers off of it. I'm going to pressure wash that. Been going over the sidewalk here, just going to hit that lightly so it doesn't change color too much, but get my dirt off. And same with the street. Don't want to make it stand out, but want to make it clean again. Well, you see what we do. I'm trying to give you a good idea. See what we do. If you want the same thing done, you know, you can call Earthworks, get me out here. We'll make a mess and clean it up.